Hi, is the mic on? I don't know. I can't tell.
Button has to be up.
It's up.
Yeah. All right. First of all, thank you all for staying so long to hear us out. I'm here to oppose this bill as well. One of the most concerning things for me when I first saw this bill was the speed that was brought forward and the timely manner in which it revealed itself. I found it to be uncanny, parallel political thinking when 3 states can pass a very similar bill, or introduce a very similar bill within the span of 2 months directly after a midterm election. Now, we're told by our representatives and some of the congresswomen that spoke earlier and some of the senators, and they say that we ran on this pro-choice platform. We owe this to our constituents. But I followed the midterms pretty thoroughly, and I didn't see a single person talk about this bill in the midterms. This bill was not ran on. The concept of pro-choice was ran on. Now, this bill takes Roe v. Wade and expands it to a point where we don't know what the repercussions of that on our society are. This bill pushes it to a point. It doesn't solidify it into our state rights. It pushes the bill to a place where it's never been before. And we don't know the repercussions that that'll have on our society. Also, I think that there's, like Julius was saying, a false sense of urgency that we're going to lose Roe v. Wade, as if there's this malicious agenda to undercut what's been written into our Constitution. I just haven't seen anything that relates to that. As some of you guys have said today, that there are no cases on the ballot. And I think Representative or Senator Lombardi said it pretty well. He says that he's a smart guy, he can see it coming, and if it sneaks up on it, he'll catch it before it gets there. So I don't think that it's something that we have to live like a boogeyman, like it's gonna get us. And also, one of the concerning things that I saw when some of these people were up here earlier talking is we see the semblances of voluntary eugenics, where we're talking about desirable traits, whether a child will be born poor. Well, it's the quality of life will be born if the baby has into a low-income society. Well, we're talking voluntary eugenics, where we're deciding quality of life. And for me, the fear is that voluntary eugenics will slowly slip into state-demanded eugenics, where if you don't reach a certain income, if you don't reach a certain IQ, it's just like the founder of Planned Parenthood says, they want to, from the beginning, Planned Parenthood has had a strict plan for forced eugenics. Margaret Sanger was a firm believer in birth licenses. She didn't even believe in the fundamental human right of motherhood. And now we're told that, oh, well, the organization has changed. It's new people. They don't think that anymore. Yet what is all of this that we're seeing now? They're saying that, oh, we're compassionate because we don't want the poor family to have the baby. Oh, we're now before it was hatred. We didn't want the poor people to have babies because we thought they weren't good for society. But now we're so loving. We don't want them to have the babies because it's not good for them. The baby won't be happy. The baby will have a poor quality of life. And we're told to say, well, you have the same thing that you've been saying for years, yet now you're loving about it. And it's very hard to accept that. It's very hard to look forward and say that, okay, New York passes this, Virginia passes this, Rhode Island proposes it, all within the span of 2 months. It doesn't seem like this is representing the Rhode Island people. It seems like a calculated attack on life by the DNC in all of their states. And I think that if we push this forward, if we expand the liberties, if we leave the moral justifications up to the doctors who were not elected, so if we have a doctor choosing who lives, a doctor choosing who dies, I think it's important to remember that some of the most morally corrupt people in our history have been doctors. We don't even trust our pharmaceutical companies, yet we trust doctors to decide when it's in the best interest to have a baby. And then we have another doctor coming up, and I'm sorry if I'm going long, but we have a doctor who's an OBGYN coming up, and he's saying to us that as a doctor, he doesn't know when a woman's healthy, the woman knows. That's a preposterous claim. Why should he be a doctor then? If I go to a doctor and he tells me that only I know when I'm healthy, then what did you go to school for? What am I paying you for? What is your purpose in society? Like, it's such a delusional disconnect from reality to say that only a woman knows what is healthy for a woman. Yet, on the same strand, we tell her thousands of things that aren't healthy for her. You can't drive 100 miles an hour. You can't take heroin. You can't do many things. We tell people so many times what is and what isn't healthy. But when we get here, men especially are told that we can't talk. That when the children are dying, that when we see these things happening, that we have to sit down and be quiet. Yet we have the same gumption to look back into civilizations that commit genocide and say, where were you? Why weren't you standing up? Where were all the people in Nazi Germany? Well, I wonder if maybe people will look back on us that way and say, where are the people standing up? And we'll say, well, gee, we were told that we didn't have voices. We were told that we didn't even know morality. As men, we couldn't speak up about our children, about our futures, about who we are leaving in this planet. I think it's very important that this bill be slowed down. We don't need to pass this. As many people have said, there's no immediate danger to, as they say, female reproductive rights, the freedom. There's so many terms. It's mind-boggling to keep up with all these terms. I say we just slow down, keep all the terms out of it, and look at what is good for Rhode Island. Just because you ran on pro-choice doesn't mean that people want this. 71% are for abortion, 73% are against late-term abortion. We need to talk about these things. We need time. And I think that that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.